Hello, I'm Louise Harris from Last Research and Editing and Christian Marketing Experts. And this week on The Last Word, we're going to be talking about Ben Franklin and Martin Luther King and what that mean for your business. So let's get started. January 15th is the birthday of Benjamin Franklin, but this year it is also the holiday for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And while they're both great men, I personally believe that Ben Franklin did a whole lot more for this country and for the people than Martin Luther King. Yes, Martin Luther King had a dream about having a society that didn't look at people's color but saw their character and looked into their hearts, and that is wonderful, and I definitely agree with his sentiment that we need to stop the hate and start collaborating, start working together to accomplish great things. When throughout history we have worked together as a country, we have been able to actually do the impossible. For example, landing a person on the moon, that happened because America was trying to beat the Russians, but we did it together. Whenever we have our Olympic teams, they work together to win, and that's why we win golds and silvers and bronzes. When other things that work together, we work together to stop the Great Depression, we work together to solve other financial crises, we work together when the towers came down in 9/11, September 11th, 1991. September 11th, 2001, sorry. So when we work together and collaborate, we accomplish great things. And that is the message that Dr. Luther King Jr. brings to this country. To collaborate, to work together, to not see somebody's color, but think of them as an intelligent person that might have valid ideas. But look at some of the things that Benjamin Franklin has done and we are still using today. Wastewater treatment, the Franklin stove. Many of the stoves that we use today are still based on the Franklin stove original idea. He started the first free library. He started the postal system. He started the firefighting, volunteer firefighting. He started, he got lightning rods for houses and learned how to harness the electricity that's in lightning. He showed us how electricity could be used, and we still use that today. There are so many things that Benjamin Franklin did. Also, he was a publisher, and people still quote his Richer Almanac. There's so many things that Benjamin Franklin did that we still use today in 2024. And he also was the person who went to France to ask the French to join our independence bid against the Great Britain. And without that help, we probably would not have won it. We would not be here today. He was also the one who pushed for independence along with a few other people. He was a diplomat, he was a scientist, he was an inventor, he was a politician, he was a publisher, a writer, and all of those things are so valuable, and we use them every single day. And I just don't understand why this country has not honored Benjamin Franklin with a holiday. Yes, he is on the $100 bill, and that's probably the best honor we could give him. And he does have a bunch of buildings named after him in Philadelphia. So he has been honored. I'm not saying he has not been honored, but why should we ignore him and celebrate other people? Now, I promised that these two men would relate to your business somehow, so I'm going to talk about that now. I already mentioned that Dr. Luther King is all about collaboration and looking at people's hearts and character versus their skin color. And that is how you succeed in business, by inviting ideas that might be different from your own, but will actually propel the project farther. Without Dr. Martin Luther King, we would still be separated, and we wouldn't have the thought processes that other people can bring to the table. And as a business owner, you want to surround yourself not by yes people, but by people who might have fresh ideas or a new approach to doing things. Somebody who might look at the data and say, hey, if we tried it this way, it might work. Or look at the marketing plan and say, hey, let's try something else. Now, how can Benjamin Franklin help your business? Well, as I mentioned, he was a publisher, a writer, and an inventor, and a scientist, and a lot of the things that he invented we're still using today. A lot of things he started we're still doing today. But as a business owner, he was very shrewd. He knew when things wouldn't work to move on to something else. He kept trying for his experiments. He kept trying them until he succeeded in improving his work. And as a politician, he kept trying until he could get the result that he wanted as a politician. So, as a business owner, you can look to Benjamin Franklin and remember that if you fail, it's just a minor bump in the road. You just keep trying until something succeeds. You don't have to worry about every failure. You use that failure to learn from it and move on to the next area. As a business owner, you can look to some of his sayings and some of his experiments and incorporate them. One of my favorites is early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. And this is actually true. If you get a good night's sleep, the next day your mind is open and ready to begin the next day, and you're more likely to succeed. And you're more likely to get wealthy. So my advice to you is embrace both Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s and Benjamin Franklin's ideas and mannerisms for your success. So, don't worry, be happy.